got FF split set up wrong or something. Okay, right. Well, 40 viewers are still here. Hopefully, I didn't miss too much of that, and hopefully this is gonna be okay. So let's just see how it goes. Okay, well, it seems alright to me. The game isn't too laggy, so that's not a problem at all. Although it doesn't fast forward very fast, but that's fine, I guess. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, Viper managed to get through on this side, and that is a big problem for Chris because Chris is totally open. He's got this water control, but it's absolutely good for nothing right now, and that is an absolute nightmare for him, to say the least. And the game doesn't run very fast now. I'm using XSplit, which is a nightmare, but whatever. Taking this monastery here, that's going to be lost in just a moment, and that means that Chris is going to lose his 2 relics, and Viper is going to gain 2 relics. If we have a look over on his monastery, he's already got 2 right there, and that means it's going to be up to 4 relics, which is massive, to be honest with you. 4 relics is really big, considering when your opponent doesn't have any. It's going to help him out massively, let's be honest. Siege Ram already researched for the Viper on that side. He's also got light cavalry. No Hussar being researched just yet, unless I'm missing it somewhere. No Hussars just yet, but he's got quite a strong army here. Elite Mangudai, fully upgraded, light cavalry with good upgrades, soon to be Hussars, and Siege Rams as well. So this water control from Chris really not paying off so well, though he did just land some trebuchets onto Viper's side. Viper's going to try and take these out real quick, because he doesn't want to lose his castle. He needs to keep his castles alive in order to keep the Mangudai alive. So guys, tell me how the stream is right now. Tell me how it is. I hope it's okay. Is it alright? It looks a bit laggy. Is it laggy? It's okay, right, okay. I'm getting really paranoid now because I'm just constantly worried that it's going to drop or it's just going to stop working or something. But as you can see, Elite Mangudai absolutely tear through skirmishers because they fire so fast, they do such good damage, and really skirmishers don't do that much to kill Mangudai. So looks like Viper's in a really nice little position here, starting to push forwards, and he's going to have a Tsar very soon as well. Similar army composition from Chris, going in with the Elite Mangudai, with the light cavalry and the siege rams, but I've got to say, Viper looks like he's got more of everything right now. Chris got almost 3k gold though. Viper on... Never mind, Viper on 3k gold, Chris only on 500 gold, and these 2 relics are going to be collected up really soon, I think. There's monks going over to collect them right now, and if Viper gets those 2 relics, then he could win the game on gold starvation. Of course, Chris, now unable to collect this gold on the bottom. He's running out of gold over at the top. Doesn't look like he's got much gold down here either. And once that is gone, it is gone. So Chris going to have a very hard time for getting gold a little bit later on. Viper now with the Hussars as well. And it looks to me like Viper's going to be in a really strong position here, as Chris is going to be struggling for gold massively, due to the fact that, of course, Viper has so many relics. He's got so much gold on his side of the map. He's still got plenty of gold over here, and it's looking pretty strong for him. More gold over here as well, and Viper could even take this gold on this side. More siege workshops coming up as well, and coming in with the siege rams now. This looks like it could be a really good push for the Viper. He's got plenty of siege rams in there. He could bring his Mangudai in as well, which he is going to do, and he could kill lots of villagers, stop these production facilities going up, and even kill off a few Mangudai as well if he sort of stays back and away from this castle. Trying to take the castle out though, not so successful. His rams going down pretty quickly. Mangudai is quite effective at taking out rams, as you can see, and unfortunately not able to take that castle out, but the Viper is in a nice situation still, continuing to push forwards. More and more of everything pretty much. Look how much gold he's got. Lots of units being streamed across the map. Of course the problem is now his castles are all the way over here, and if he wants to send them over to Chris's side of the map, he's got to send them all the way around, over here, all the way over here, all the way over here, all the way over here. It's a really long way to go, and he's only got 2 castles left, which is a problem. But he has got a lot of stables, he can continue to make hussars all day long, and he's got these 2 monks with relics, which are going to help him out massively. But again, over here, trying to take out the castle, but I think the rams will go down pretty quickly. As I said, Mangudais, they take out rams pretty fast indeed. can see the Rams going down now, but the castle going to be taking a lot of damage here actually as well. The Rams still just about holding on for now, and Viper trying to kill as many Mangudais as he can, but standing under that castle for too long has cost him a lot, because these Mangudais now are very low on HP, and a lot of them did die as well. Holding on for the time being though, and it's not looking amazing for Chris, I've got to say. Viper's still coming in with the Siege Rams, still continuing to produce lots of units, and denying him this gold. And I think he's actually trying to deny Chris gold here. Once he gets these 2 relics, he's going to be fine. He's got 1.5k gold in the bank, and that is a lot compared to Chris's 166. So Chris going to be really struggling for gold here. He might be able to spam a lot of hussars and light cavalry, and a lot of archery range elite skirmishers as well. So he could still hold on for quite some time with just trash, but without gold he's going to not be able to make rams, he won't be able to make trebuchets, and that's going to be a real pain in the ass for him, to be perfectly honest with you. But I've got to say, he has got these galleons here, so taking the water a bit earlier on has helped him out a little bit, I guess. He might just be able to regain this gold over here. If he does that, it might be okay for him. Viper just moving these monks with relics back now. Took him a bit of a while to realise, but sending them packing, and gonna even take his stone over here. There's not enough stone for a castle though, so unfortunately Viper not gonna be able to afford another castle anytime soon. He spent all of his resources, all of his stone, protecting the castles he did have, and he ended up losing it anyway. So he's actually down to just 2 castles, which means not so many Mangudai, which is a bit unfortunate, because if we have a look, he's got tons of wood, tons of gold, but he can't actually make that many Mangudai because he's only got 2 castles, which is a bit of a pain in the ass. It looks to me like Chris is actually starting to push the Viper back on this side, which is really good for him. Starting to push him right back, and I think really he's just going to be spamming the trash right now. He's not got much gold whatsoever. Lots of trash can be built, but not really making many Mangudai because he just can't afford it. It costs a lot of resources to make a lot of Mangudai, and he hasn't got the gold for it. So Viper with a huge advantage gold-wise, but Chris actually pushing him back, which is surprising. I think the main reason for that is because his Mangudai have so far to travel to reinforce, but he could just about hold him off if he's careful. And Viper, with not so much food, he needs a bit more food so he can continue the hussar production, or even spam if you want to call it that. But he's going to bring these 2 relics back now, and that brings him up to 4 relics, which is going to give him a huge gold boost. And that is really, really good, actually. Lots of siege rams in here, but they're going to be lost if he's not careful. He's going to have to back them up with something, trying to re-rally back here. More Mangudais being sent over, but as I said, they've got a long way to go, and they're being created very slowly. But so much gold for the Viper. He's got so much gold to spend, and by the time, if he keeps all of his army together, keeps his Mangudais alive, he's going to be absolutely fine. Stream still okay? I hope so. It looks like it's okay to me. It's a little bit blurry, but it's not too bad. I'm going to go back into the game now. Okay. As I said, really paranoid now because of that. And the quality is just so crap with XSplit as well. Like, the quality with FF Split is so awesome, but the quality with this is just crap. So, it sucks, really. Really sucks, but oh well. Yeah, there we go. Chris trying to take this gold, and is actually pushing the Viper back, which is really, really good. Starting to push him back on this side. Viper losing some ground, and now Chris can take this gold. He might be able to get himself back into the game. If he can just get enough gold to hold things off for the time being, he will be okay. He's got a big score lead, actually, which is quite impressive as well. And Viper just hanging around on the right-hand side, trying to do what he can, using his siege rams to absorb arrow fire, of course, and try and do what he can. But as I said, he's just got so far to go with these Mangudai. Looks like his gold's starting to run out now as well. Still got a little bit of gold over here, but this gold is depleted now, and once that is gone, he's only got his relics to fall back on, but these villagers can start making farms, and then he's going to have a ton of farms, and then a ton of hussars, which is really going to be useful indeed. A lot of hussars being created, really padding out his numbers and keeping his army count high. Chris on 160 population, Viper on 170 population, Chris on 184. He's got a lot of economy, I think, and he's got quite a lot of skirmishes as well, but his economy absolutely huge at the moment. A little bit messy, but still rather huge. Quite a few idols where they were collecting gold, but the gold's run out. And a little bit of army over here as well. Viper trying to bust through these walls. I think I missed that. But he's got rams over here. He could actually bust through these walls fairly easily and use this trebuchet to take out that castle. That would be really cool. Could bust through there, do a lot of damage from the side. That would work out great for him. But Chris is still holding on for the time being, and he's claimed this gold back, which is really important. He's going to be able to gather from this, try and get as much gold as he possibly can from this gold pile here, and that could pay off really well for him, actually. Viper, though, going to come in again now with more skirmishes, more manga dies, and I think he's going to try and push through here. That might pay off really well for him, but again, lots of huzzahs being created from the Viper. He's keeping his resources low. He's still got quite a lot of gold as well, and if he can get up to 200 population and just keep it at that level, he should be okay. Moving forwards now, trying to take out that castle. He's got his trebuchet there to fire upon that, and he's going to move in with his siege rams as well. Viper could make this really worthwhile if he pushes on the right top side, and it looks like he's going to send his whole army over there as well, which is kind of interesting. Let's see if he can actually break through. His siege rams should be able to break through the walls pretty quickly. If they can break through the second wall as well, then he's going to be in a really nice spot. He just needs to get in there, send his rams forwards, and take out those walls. They've only got 8 HP, so actually a couple of manga dies could kill them off really quickly, actually. But meanwhile, while he's doing that, Chris is actually coming in from the right and almost coming in from behind. He's going to be catching Viper a little bit off guard. Viper's going to have to move his army forwards, and he's going to try and take out this castle as best he can. Chris making a trebuchet of his own, sending forwards the manga die. They might be able to pick off the trebuchet actually here, and it looks like Chris might just be able to hold on the right side. He's still pushing over here as well, though, which is kind of nice, keeping Viper on his toes. Viper moving forwards with the manga die. Is he going to be able to take the castle out, though? That's the question, and it's going to be really important. But if Chris loses this wall, if this wall goes down and Viper breaks through, he could send his entire army to the back of Chris's base and do a hell of a lot of harassment to his economy, and that would just be terrible for Chris. And same for Chris, though. If he breaks through here, he could just make a run for it, run right round and kill a lot of Viper's farms. That would do so much damage, and he could actually do that because Viper isn't walled or anything here. So if Chris did just send all these guys for a run and ran for it, he could do so much damage to Viper's economy, but I don't think that's going to happen. It's unlikely. We'll see. But again, Viper trying to push on the right, using his rams to absorb the arrow fire, using his manga dice behind it to do a lot of damage, and if he breaks through this wall again, as I said, he could just do so much damage to Chris's economy, but he's not using his rams properly. Well, he is, but he's not using them to take out the wall. He's using them to absorb arrow fire, which isn't really working so well. Can he do it? Can he get through there? That's the question. He's lost his trebuchet now, so the castle will stand, and it looks like he's actually still being pushed back a little bit. Viper on 172, Chris on 184. He's still slightly in the lead, which is kind of impressive considering the situation he was in just 10 minutes ago. Still gathering up this gold, and this gold almost gone actually. Not so much gold left there at all, but Chris 300 gold for him. Viper on 978 still. He's still got 1,000 gold in the bank, and he can continue to make Mankadite all day long. He's actually stopped, which is interesting. I thought maybe keep queuing these guys up, but for now it seems like it's just going to be mass huzzah, which are cheap and easy to build, lots of elite skirmishers as well, and more siege rams. And it looks like Viper, if he gets up to population, could push back through. Where's Chris's army gone? They've fallen right back, and I don't think Chris has actually got that much army at all, to be honest with you. He's got a few Mangadite over here, a few units over here, and a few skirmishers over here, but overall he's probably only got about 40 or 50 units. If Chris gets outmassed, then Viper could push straight back again, which would be really, really bad for him. Losing this gold. He also has a hell of a lot of galleons, which aren't really doing that much, to be honest. So Viper, I think, has the army count advantage, though Chris still does have the score lead, which is interesting, to say the least. Is the stream still working? Yep. It looks okay, so that's all good. Um, what was I saying? Yeah, it looks like Viper's actually going to push through here, and he could end the game if he just pushes with 200 pop and does a huge push. He's almost up to that number. He's got loads of Mangadai. He's got loads of Hussars being created, lots of Rams. He's got everything he needs. He just needs to go for it now and push through, and he could do a lot of damage to Chris. He's still not using his rams over here though. I thought perhaps he would have broken through here by now, but nope, he's not doing that. He's just hanging around this choke point and keeping things safe. Maybe he's waiting to reach population cap before he goes for a big attack. I don't know, but he's still creating Mangadai, and that's kind of important thing to do. Oh, nice. Sneaky Chris trying to do a bit of a land on the Viper's side. Not so successful though, because Viper did spot that very quickly, and he's able to deal with that pretty quickly as well, starting to set the rally point for these Mangadais back home. And Viper is going to stop this, I think. The siege workshop will go up, but Chris only with 3 stables here, not really able to do that much damage. As I said earlier, Chris has got the water control, but it's going to be very hard for him to make an effective landing as Viper is here, and this is what is going to take all of his attention. So it's going to be pretty hard now for Chris to actually come back, I think. Looks like Viper's going to be able to push through. He's still got 1,000 gold. Chris, on the other hand, with only 400. But so much wood and so much food, he could spam... what can he spam? He could spam skirmishes all day long. But as I said, Viper now coming forwards with the siege rams. The Mangadai behind it. It's so important to keep these guys alive. But these siege rams absorbing so much arrow fire, and I think Chris may have just dropped down. Yep, he's got less population than the Viper now, and he's dealing with this attack on the left just fine. So Viper's looking pretty strong. He's starting to move forwards. This could be it. He could be pushing out finally with his Mangadai and trying to do what damage he can. Going to take out this mining camp. And again, these Galleons being a little bit of a nuisance. But the Viper can push past that, I think. He's continuing to make Hussars and he's continuing to make Mangadai. A lot of Mangadai, and he just needs to clean up this over here, and he will have dealt with Chris's landing. All he has to do then is push forwards on Chris's side and take the game. I've got a feeling he can do it, because it's really not looking like Chris has got much gold left at all, and Viper is going to have those 4 relics to keep him in the lead with gold. Or gold-wise, so it looks like Viper could end up taking this. It's going to be still going to be a little bit of a tough fight over here, but I think it's ultimately going to go towards the Viper, and he's got a lot of Hussars coming out still. He's just trying to keep himself up to population, and I think now he's dealt with the landing on the left. He's got his ram going over there. If he brings these Mangadai over, I think he may have reset the gather point. Yep, he's reset the gather point over here, and it looks like he's going to continue to push on through. Looks like he's going to be successful as well, and this is a pretty darn long game. Chris holding on for dear life, but I've got to say it really is starting to look more and more in Viper's favour. 174 pop to Chris's 147. He's losing a lot of units right now, and quite fast as well. Bear in mind that he's got a good 10 or so galleons on the 20 or so galleons on the water, so really his population is dwindling, and Viper is able to keep his population up and keep the pressure on, keep the units coming in, and it looks like he's going to go and push forwards in just a moment. It could be it for Chris. His population count getting really low now, and Viper can really start to push it to his advantage. Let's see what happens. I'm getting tired, to be honest with you, but we'll get there eventually. We don't know where these villagers are going, but they're going to die, that's for sure. And this gold's still not depleted yet, but it looks like Chris is going to have a tough time gathering from that anytime soon, because Viper, right outside, looks like he's going to move in with his Mangadai again. He just needs to move forwards and take Chris out, and I think he can do it. I think he can do it pretty quickly. He just needs to get in there and deal the damage with his whole army rather than sending a few units at a time. It's better to keep your whole army together and do a lot of damage at once rather than sending bits by bits as they die very quickly. Chris still less population, but he's starting to catch up again. Viper just needs to push through. If he does it, I think he'll win it because he's got the numbers advantage. He just needs to do it, really. Continuing to spam the Hussars as ever, and look at his economy at the back. So many villagers gathering food, so much of everything really. Still dealing a little bit with this, and wow, Chris actually still with some Hussars over here distracting the Viper, and Viper's going to have to deal with that. A little bit of gold left in this gold mine, which is unusual at this stage of the game, but I think this might be it. This could be the push. He's sending in a lot of siege rams to absorb the arrow fire. His Mangudais are right behind it, and I think Chris losing a lot of population here. It's 150 to Viper's 157, so it looks like Chris is losing out. He just needs to stay away from the galleons, and he'll be fine. He's just push up through here, take out that trebuchet perhaps, and just continue to push on through. Looks like he's going to stay away from the galleons for now. Look at all the dead bodies on the floor. That is horrible. And yeah, lots of hussars being queued up still. Maybe a few more stables would help, but for the time being, it's all good. And he's going to continue to push on. 163 population to 156. It's still fairly close, but you've got to bear in mind the galleons. And now he's going to start taking out the buildings from Chris. If Chris doesn't have the buildings, he can't make the units. And if he doesn't have the units, he can't win the game. That's as simple as it gets. Looks to me like Viper really starting to storm ahead. Getting his population up, keeping it up, and still trying to deal with this forward from Chris over on his side. Taking out a lot of buildings now with his siege rams. If he takes out the castles, he'll be able to run straight on through, and that will help out massively. 172 pop to 176. Chris just getting back in the lead. Is this game ever going to end? Is it ever going to not be neck and neck? Well, eventually, yes, I'm sure. Viper has got an advantage. He has got the extra relics, and you'll see at the end how much gold he's actually managed to collect. A huge amount. I imagine those relics are going to be paying off big time right now. And continuing to move in, so many hussars constantly being spammed, and the population still 170-ish. Chris on 170 as well. It's so close. It's so close. Chris with a huge score lead though, 3,000 score lead. It's kind of unusual to see that much score lead. You wouldn't quite expect it to be that far ahead considering he's actually falling behind. And Viper now might be able to take this castle. It's going to be very close. He might just be able to get it, and if he does, that's going to be a huge blow to Chris. I think Chris now losing a ton of population, and Viper starting to really get in there. And he's losing a lot of units to the castles, yes, but he's taking out a lot of units as well. And he's forcing Chris right back into his base. This siege ram should be on the castle. He could even take it out, and that would be great for him. But for the time being, it looks like Chris is going to be forced right back. He's landing, failing miserably, unfortunately. But he's only got 2 hussars over there, and Viper can quickly reinforce, quickly deal with that. And it's all about this area here. But look how much ground the Viper's gained all of a sudden. It was stalematey for so long at this area, but now the Viper pushing right forwards, starting to replenish his buildings, adding archery ranges, probably going to add some stables, continuing to spam in those siege rams, which are being paid for by the relics right now. And everything is on fire. Everything is going to die, and I think this is about GG for Chris. I've got to say, it's certainly not looking so good. If he loses his Mangudai, which could happen now they're surrounded, Chris has actually got absolutely nothing he can do, really. This castle so close to going down, 1000 HP left, and Viper on 155 population, Chris on 167. He's still got more population. I still put that down to the galleys though, or the galleons. But of course, Viper being the aggressor, he's bound to lose more units. But now, getting into Chris's economy, killing off his villagers, the castles are going down, and once the castles are completely destroyed, Viper's going to have free roam over his eco. As you can see, killing off a lot of villagers over here, and continuing to keep the pressure on. More hussars coming through. Is he still making Mangudai? Nope, he's not got the gold for it. But he will be able to keep making a few rams every now and then, and that's really going to aid him out in pushing Chris back. It's just like a red spear sort of piercing the green sort of greediness on the map, and I think Viper's really going to keep pushing here. I can't see how Chris is going to defend so well against all this. Chris's population still slightly higher than the Viper, but I don't know for how long. He's still got a lot of Mangudai, and Chris has lost all of his Mangudai, which does mean that Viper's going to gain a little advantage from that, as well as trying to take out this castle as well. So it's certainly not looking good for Chris. This definitely doesn't have murder holes, so he couldn't even lose the castle to the hussars, which I doubt is going to happen. But it would be funny if it does. Those hussars taking out a castle on their own would be great. But more siege workshops coming forwards, more archery ranges coming forwards. He's getting a bit low on wood as well, surprisingly. But Monk's coming in as well. He's serious about this, trying to nab that last relic perhaps, and coming forward still with more and more hussars. 166 to Chris's 159. It's still so close. Chris still has the score lead, but he is continually being pushed back, and without any harassment to Viper's eco, Viper can just continue with this all day, and Chris really isn't going to be able to do so much to push this back now, especially as he can't afford Mangadai, and Viper can. This castle going to go down to the siege ram here, and once that castle is gone, and this castle goes down, Viper's going to have free roam over his economy. There's nothing at the back to protect it. So many farms, look at all that. And Viper's already in there with the hussars, so Chris's population going to fall pretty rapidly. And now we see 180 pop from the Viper, 150 for Chris. He's falling behind very quickly, losing that castle, and now his villagers are getting picked off one by one as Viper comes in, takes out his town centres, and continues to push through his base. It looks like Chris is going to end up losing this game. I can't see how he's going to push the Viper back. His population falling pretty quickly, 140 pop to Viper's 180, 180. That is 40 more at the moment, and it's going to continue to grow and grow and grow in difference because, of course, now with the manga dies at the back, going to kill so many units, and so many villages are going to get slaughtered. Looks like it's going to be a massive difference. 126 for Chris. He's going to be below 100 in just a moment. He's continuing to make units, but once the food is gone, it's gone. He won't be able to get it back if he's got no farmers left. And Viper continuing to push through. There we go, Chris GG, and Viper takes it, which makes this series 1-1. Of course, Chris did win that first game on Ghost Lake. Viper winning the second game on Yucatan, and that's it. That's GG. Well played by Viper. His tactic, he told me, was to starve him of gold, and it paid off. That monastery there really did help him out in the long run. He gained so much gold from those 4 relics, continued to make rams, continued to make mangadais, and it paid off. Chris just running out of gold totally. Not really a lot he could have done there to make any gold units at all. If you have a look at the market prices, food and wood sold completely. There was no stone left on the map to even sell, but the sell price of these were just terrible. So well played by Viper, I've got to say. Very well played indeed. And we'll have a look now at the after game statistics, and you'll see just how much gold the Viper had. Look at that, 7,000 extra gold, and that was because, well, he gained an extra 3,000 gold from relics, and he managed to collect a lot more as well. So, wow, exactly 127 villages each, kind of interesting. But yeah, well played from the Viper, and that makes it 1-1. So, interesting game, interesting.